I remember the first time I was with someone who was sitting Shiva, and we had the experience of Shiva ending. And with her, uh, I stood up, and together we walked around the block, which is one of the traditions that we have after Shiva. And I remember how powerful that moment was, and how strange the moments afterwards were, because we circled the block and then we came home. And I checked in with her at the end of the day after she had gone about her business and I'd gone about mine. And we recognized that even though Shiva was formally finished, we had the experience of time not being the same anymore, the day not being normal. Um, and I start with that reflection because it is quite powerful to me to go through these days, and I can't imagine those living directly in the community in Pittsburgh that has been so ravaged. But what is it right after Shiva? What is it to walk around the block and then try to go about the business of a day? Here I am sitting at work at UJA, a Jewish organization. There you are, wherever you are. What's the day after Shiva like for us? And I'll tell you that I know that the answer is it's not normal. For instance, I was shopping with my children just yesterday, and in a store, it doesn't make a difference which one, it doesn't make a difference where. Someone who was in the fitting room helping us with our stuff was joking around with us, and then went about their business, came back and touched me on the shoulder and said, "I'm so sorry about your synagogue." And I remember when I was with my friend and she told me about the day after Shiva, she said, "Nothing's the same. Everyone's reminding me, actively or just by going about their lives, that everything's different for me." And so in these days, we know to our cores, everything is different. Everything is different. And in America, we're the day before an election that might make a big statement about what we wish for our country. And we're carrying our scars really raw and exposed in the world. And no day is going to be normal ever again. Even when they begin to feel a little bit more normal, we're going to be carrying these scars with us as we move forward. So I wanted to share, maybe it's comfort, maybe it's just honest, from this week's parsha that we just began. We're about to read Toldot. And in the story of Toldot, we have all sorts of things about our family's internal dysfunctions during the book of Genesis, during our earliest generations as a family, as a people. And one of the sections is about Yitzchak, Isaac, traveling through a section of the world called Gerar. And the place where his father had dug wells was now stopped up. Unfriendly tribes and people filled in the wells that his father had dug. And he was forced to dig them again and again and again. Peter Pitzela, a wonderful teacher of our generation, has written a book called Father's Wells. And Yehuda Amichai has also written a poem about what it is to fight our parents, our ancestors' battles. So I want to offer this reflection from Toldot, which is to say, yeah, the wells were dug, and they worked, and they nourished us. And you'd hope, and so would I, that all the work our ancestors have done to get us to this point would be enough for us to live the lives they intended for us. But you and I are learning, if we didn't already know it, that's not how it goes. We will be blessed with the strength to dig wells, not with the blessing of having them already dug. Our ancestors gave us the strength and the ability to look at the world the way we do. With their scars and their healing, we accumulate our own life's experiences, and our children will experience theirs. The big challenge and the big gift of this moment in our lives as a people, as an American society, as individuals, is to recognize that the days after Shiva will not be normal, even to Shloshim, even to Yortzeit, even until the next generation and the generation after that. We will always have to dig our new wells. But the real question I want us to be asking, and I'm asking myself pretty actively at the moment, is will we have each other? Will we have each other's strengths and tears and comfort? And by each other, I don't just mean Jews. Will we stand by our fellow people, be they migrants, be they neighbors, be they Muslims, atheists, Republicans, Democrats? These days feel so unfriendly. Except that when we stand in solidarity, we see the world that could be. We see imams and priests and civil servants and rabbis all mourning and singing together about a world that could be built from love. That's the way these wells should be built, and maybe they'll be the wells that last and nourish our children's children. The big blessing that we could be to each other, and by each other I mean everybody. The big blessing we could be to each other is to dig these wells firmly, holding each other, maintaining their boundaries so that every generation will be able to go deeper and deeper and deeper until we reach the core of existence together, which is to say, life. Let us live. These days will not feel normal, but maybe what they can do for us is give us an abnormal kind of strength to see through our pain and to recognize that everybody has their own. This is our traumatic moment. These are the days after our Shiva. But aim by change hamet. There is no house that hasn't been touched by death. And I believe that it's our moment as a world, hopefully, to choose life. So let's be kinder to each other in these days. Let's be more fierce in defense of each other in these days. And let's dig deep. Maybe there'll be enough water for everybody.